Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my wonderful and amazing people. This Chacha Ike Austin, that's her last name, her husband's name. She took to social media on her 10th wedding anniversary to tell us a little bit of herself and what she's been going through all these years. I'm sure a lot of you are tired of hearing me talk about mental health. I am so proud of this young lady, how she's not ashamed to come out to talk about mental health, how it has affected her marriage, and how her husband has always stood with her. She told us also that she lived in denial for some time. She took to social media to appreciate her husband, to appreciate her husband and to, thank him very much for everything that her husband has been doing for her and how he stood by her and how she remained a missus because her husband didn't throw her away. She said it's 10 years today. That was June 4th that when she posted this. She said it's 10 years today. She said she married her best friend, and to him who has brought me great luck and fame. He said she also went further to say that her husband catches her when she falls, and that her husband is the reason why she's a mother, even when she's confused. She said her husband is a warrior in moments of weakness, and the reason she's still a missus, like I say. So she thanked him and promised to love him forever. Then she further went to tell us a story how she got really sick and how she believed her husband was trying to use her imaginary, how she had this imaginary company, how she believed her husband was going to use her for, ritual and all that stuff because she had this thing in her head. I was telling her all these things. How she, she desperately wanted to run away from home. Then she made this ID card and traveled from Asaba to Lagos. And Lagos, she went through the borders. She has to disguise herself and traveled until she got to Ghana. She told us how she had this maniac attack and, schizophrenia, depression crisis, identity crisis, and bipolar disorder. And she also went further to let us know how a lady called Esther recognized her in Ghana. She went as far as going to crossing borders, and she ended up in Ghana because she had this schizo, and the blend of schizo, the depression, identity crisis, and the bipolar disorder. So I believe she was really messed up. For her to come up to tell us a story. I really, really applaud her because you will not see any of these celebrities in Nigeria coming out to tell us their story, how they go crazy and all that. She thanked the lady, some lady called Esther in Ghana that helped her made her recognize who she was and how she ended up back to Nigeria. And and the story the story continued. She told us how when she was first diagnosed, how she lived in denial, why she didn't want to believe that, oh no, she cannot be crazy. And she said they gave her drugs, but she went home and she refused to take those drugs. She flushed the medication down the toilet. A lot of people do that. A lot of mental health patients do that. She was like, no, she's not the one crazy. She flushed the pills. I think a friend of hers also helped her, got some pills for her, which she said were in thousands of dollars, according to her, about 6 months or so supply. But she said she didn't take them, and she told her friend bluntly that she wasn't going to take them. He said because the Lord told her that those drugs were not for her and that she was fine. And she said throughout her pregnancy, she did not take any pill. But the only thing she said, well, there was one thing she said, they say, only this time it was a small madness. She added when she said she didn't take her medicine. She said it was a small madness because each time it got worse, when those maniac attack comes, she begins to, to destroy properties, break TV. I think she said this some time ago, including vital business documents and wedding photos. She said she's destroyed a lot in her marriage, in her home. Each time she has those episodes. But her husband stood by her. Her husband was right there. And she said she also went further to say she accused a lot of people because she felt a lot of people were after her. She believed it was her husband that was going to use her for rituals. She said it was her family because her family didn't initially agree that for her to marry her husband. So look at her. She's so beautiful and her beautiful children. And she said her husband her family didn't want her to marry her husband, so she accused her parents, and also she turned to her husband's family and said they were the one that were after her. But all this time she was living in denial. When you live in denial, you could just do a lot of things and blame others for everything except yourself. And mental health can have you do that. So I'm glad this actress is speaking out and she's not afraid, she's not ashamed. And I believe that everyone with this condition should do same. So I really applaud Chacha for doing this. Hopefully more Nigerians will come up and talk about mental health. It is a disease that can be managed. So I hope a lot of people will begin to come out. So I really applaud her. So my people, I just wanted to let us know that mental health is real. And look at this beautiful young lady. She's coming out. She's not ashamed. And I believe that anyone and everyone that have mental health should be encouraged to do same. So my people, I just felt I should bring this to you. And let me know what you think about her boldly coming out in a country where they will stigmatize you with things like this. But she came out regardless. So what do you think? Leave your constructive comments and let me know what you think about her coming out, her boldness and all that. And like my pages, and don't forget to share.